You have two choices in life. You can either work on your own dream or be hired to work on somebody else's. That's the simple truth most folks never grasp. But you're here today because something inside you knows there's more. Something inside you is ready for change. 30 days, that's all I'm asking. 30 days to build the mindset that will change everything. Not next year, not someday, starting right now. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a month. I'm going to show you exactly how to use these next 30 days to create a foundation so strong that success becomes not just possible but inevitable. And I promise you, it's simpler than you think. What separates the successful from the unsuccessful isn't talent or luck or even hard work. It's mindset. It's having the right thoughts, the right attitudes, the right beliefs running through your mind day after day until they become who you are. Until success becomes not something you do, but something you are. You see, I've spent decades studying successful people. I've watched them, talked to them, learned from them. And what I've found is this success leaves clues. The same patterns show up again and again. And today I'm going to hand you the map, the step-by-step guide to building that winning mindset in just 30 days. There's an old saying, if you want to know the road ahead, ask someone who's coming back. Well, I've been down this road, I've seen what works and what doesn't. And everything I'm about to share with you comes not from theory, but from real life, from watching real people create real success through the power of their minds. Let me tell you something powerful. Your life changes the moment you make a new, congruent, and committed decision. Decision is the ultimate power, and that's where we start, with a decision so strong that it changes everything that follows. The power of decision is the starting point of any worthwhile journey. Think about it. When did things really change in your life? When you decided they would. When you said enough is enough or this is it. When you moved from I should to I must. Most people never make these kinds of decisions. They live in the land of I hope and someday and I wish. They dabble, they consider, they try, but they never decide with the full force of their being. And that's why they stay stuck. But not you. Not anymore. Because day one of your 30-day journey starts with a fundamental decision, a line in the sand, a moment where you say from this day forward, I am committed to building a winning mindset no matter what. Not I'll try, not I hope to, but I will. Period. Write it down. Say it out loud. Tell somebody else. Make it real. Because once you truly decide, the how becomes easier. Resources appear. Opportunities emerge. The universe seems to conspire to help you. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I met a young man who was working as a delivery driver making minimum wage. He had dreams, sure, but they were vague. Someday he wanted more. Someday he hoped things would change. Then one day, his car broke down. He couldn't afford to fix it. He lost his job. And sitting in his tiny apartment, he made a decision, not just to get another job, but to completely change his life. He decided that from that moment forward, he would become a person of value. He would learn every day. He would save and invest. He would build skills that the marketplace rewards handsomely. 5 years later, I ran into him again. He owned 3 businesses. He had written 2 books. His income had multiplied 20 times over. What changed? His circumstances? No. His mindset. And it all started with a decision. That's day one for you. Make the decision. Make it real. Make it count. But here's what most people miss after making a decision. They forget to take responsibility. They blame circumstances. They blame other people. They blame the economy or the government or their upbringing or 1,000 other things. And as long as you're blaming something outside yourself, you're giving away your power. Days 2 and 3 are about accepting 100% responsibility for your life. All of it. Your current situation, your results, your feelings, your future. This is perhaps the hardest part for most people because it's so much easier to be a victim. It's so much easier to point fingers. It's so much easier to say, it's not my fault. But here's the truth. Even if it's not your fault, it's still your responsibility. Even if you didn't create your circumstances, it's still up to you to change them. Even if the cards were stacked against you, it's still your hand to play. There are two kinds of people in this world. Those who say, life happens to me, and those who say, life happens through me. The first group lives in reaction. The second group lives in creation. For the next 2 days, I want you to catch yourself every time you blame, complain, or make excuses. Every single time. And then I want you to ask yourself, how am I contributing to this situation? What can I do differently? How can I take responsibility here? This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about empowering yourself, because once you take responsibility, you take back control. And control of your mind is the foundation of a winning mindset. When you wake up in the morning, say to yourself, I am responsible for my life, my results, and my happiness. When you go to bed at night, review your day and ask, where did I take responsibility today? Where did I give it away? It's a simple practice, but transformative. Because responsibility is the ability to respond. It's the difference between living at the effect of your circumstances and being the cause of your circumstances. I remember working with a woman who was deeply in debt. She blamed the credit card companies for making it too easy to borrow. She blamed advertisers for making her want things she couldn't afford. She blamed her job for not paying her enough. And she stayed stuck. It wasn't until she looked in the mirror and said, I did this. I made these choices, and I can make different ones, that things started to change. Within 18 months, she was debt-free. Within 3 years, she had savings for the first time in her life. Not because her circumstances changed, but because she took responsibility. That's what days 2 and 3 are about. Taking back your power through responsibility. Now we come to days 4 through 7, and this is where we get tactical. This is where we talk about setting goals with crystal clarity. Because a mind without clear goals is like a ship without a destination. You might be moving, but you're not going anywhere specific. Most people have vague notions of what they want: more money, better relationships, good health. But vague goals produce vague results. Winning mindsets are built on crystal clear targets. For these 4 days, you're going to get specific about what you want. Not just more money, but an income of $10,000 per month through my own business by December 31st. Not just better health, but the ability to run a 10K race by next spring while maintaining enough energy to fully engage with my family every evening. Write your goals down. Be specific. Include numbers. Include dates. Include how you'll feel when you achieve them. Make them real on paper before they become real in your life. But here's the key that most people misses. You need both short-term and long-term goals. You need the big vision that pulls you forward and the small milestones that keep you motivated along the way. Think of it like this. Your long-term goals are your destination. Your short-term goals are the gas stations along the way. You need both to complete the journey. So for days 4 through 7, you'll create a clear set of 30-day goals, 90-day goals, 1-year goals, 5-year goals, and lifetime goals. All written down, all specific, all measurable, all with deadlines. And then, this is crucial, you'll put them somewhere you'll see them every single day, because what you focus on expands. What you think about, you bring about. What you see in your mind, you'll hold in your hand. I've had people tell me, I tried goal setting once. It didn't work. And when I ask to see their goals, they have to dig through a drawer or find an old notebook, or they say, well, I didn't actually write them down. Your goals aren't just wishes. They're commands to your subconscious mind. They're the blueprint from which you're building your life. Would an architect draw up blueprints for a building and then toss them in a drawer? Would a captain chart a course and then ignore the map? Of course not. And neither should you. Review your goals morning and night. Read them out loud. Visualize them as already accomplished. Feel the emotions of having achieved them. This isn't some mystical practice. It's practical psychology. You're programming your mind for success. You're creating neural pathways that will guide your actions. By day 7, you'll have a clear, written set of goals that will guide your next steps. This is the foundation upon which your winning mindset will be built. Now we come to days 8 through 10, and here we tackle something precious. Your time, how you spend your hours is how you spend your life. And if you're like most people, you're wasting far too many of them. A winning mindset requires a winning relationship with time. Not seeing time as your enemy, not feeling rushed or hurried or always behind, but seeing time as your most valuable asset and treating it accordingly. For these 3 days, I want you to become acutely aware of how you're spending your time. Keep a log. Write down everything. You might be shocked at what you discover. How much time do you spend on social media? How much time do you spend watching TV? How much time do you spend complaining or gossiping or worrying? And how much time do you spend on activities that move you toward your goals? Most people will find that they waste hours every day on activities that add no value to their lives or their futures. That's hundreds of hours every month, thousands of hours every year, gone forever on things that don't matter. But once you're aware, you can make changes. You can eliminate time wasters. You can delegate tasks that someone else could do. You can automate repetitive activities. You can batch similar tasks together to increase efficiency. And most importantly, you can start blocking time for your highest value activities. Those things that move you most quickly towards your goals. I recommend creating a simple time management system. Block your days into segments. Protect your most productive hours for your most important work. Schedule time for learning, for exercise, for family, for reflection. Don't just let the day happen to you. Design it with intention. Remember, you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Once an hour is gone, it's gone forever. Treat each one as the non-renewable resource it is. I knew a man who complained constantly about not having enough time to start the business he dreamed of. But when he tracked his time for a week, he discovered he was watching 4 hours of television every night. That's 28 hours a week. More than enough time to build something significant. Once he saw this clearly, he cut his TV time to 1 hour per day and invested those extra 21 hours a week into his business. Within 6 months, he had enough clients to quit his day job, all because he changed his relationship with time. By day 10, you'll have eliminated the major time wasters from your life and created a system to protect and invest your hours wisely. This shift alone can double or triple your productivity and accelerate your progress towards your goals. Days 11 through 13 are about something I'm passionate about: learning and growth. A winning mindset is a growing mindset. It's hungry for knowledge, for wisdom, for new ideas and perspectives. The moment you stop growing, you start dying. That's true for plants, for animals, for businesses, and for people. Growth isn't just something you do. It's something you are. And for these 3 days, you're going to create systems to ensure you never stop learning. First, commit to reading at least 30 minutes every day. Not novels or entertainment, but books that educate and elevate you. Books on business, on psychology, on health, on relationships, whatever areas you want to improve in your life. 30 minutes a day is just a half the eighth of your waking hours, but it adds up to about a book a week, 50 books a year. Think about 50 books a year on topics that matter to you. You'll soon know more about your field than 95 of the people in it. Second, find mentors and teachers. This can be in person, through courses, through podcasts, through videos. Surround yourself with the voices and ideas of people who have already achieved what you want to achieve. Learn from their successes and their mistakes. Stand on their shoulders so you can see further. Third, learn from experience, both yours and others. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what did I learn today? What went well? What could I have done better? Extract a lesson from every experience so you're constantly refining your approach. Create a personal growth plan. Schedule time for reading, for courses, for reflection. Budget money for books, for seminars, for coaching. Make learning a non-negotiable part of your daily life. I've often said that formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. It's not just about collecting information. It's about applying what you learn, testing it in the real world, and building wisdom through experience. By day 13, you'll have a clear plan for continuous learning and growth that will ensure your mindset never stagnates. On days 14 through 16, focus on one of the most overt aspects of success: your associations and environment. As the saying goes, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And your environment, the physical spaces you occupy, the media you consume, the conversations you engage in, shapes your thinking in ways you might not even realize. For these 3 days, take a hard look at who and what you're surrounding yourself with. Are the people closest to you lifting you up or pulling you down? Are they encouraging your dreams or pouring cold water on them? Do they have the mindset you want to develop? Or are they stuck in patterns of thinking you're trying to escape? This isn't about judging others or thinking you're better than anyone else. It's simply about being intentional about your influences. Just as you wouldn't eat food that poisons your body, don't consume relationships or media that poison your mind. If you can't change certain relationships, family members, co-workers, you can still manage how much influence they have over your thinking. You can limit time, set boundaries, and consciously choose not to adopt negative attitudes or beliefs that don't serve you. At the same time, actively seek out relationships with people who think the way you want to think, who have achieved what you want to achieve. Join mastermind groups. Attend events where successful people gather. Hire coaches or mentors if you can. These relationships might be the best investment you ever make. And don't forget your physical environment. Is your workspace organized or chaotic? Are you surrounded by beauty and order or clutter and mess? The spaces you occupy affect your mental state more than you might realize. Even the media you consume is part of your environment. The news you watch, the social media feeds you scroll, the music you listen to, all of it is programming your mind in subtle ways. Choose wisely. I once worked with a young entrepreneur who was struggling to grow his business. When we analyzed his daily routine, I discovered he was starting each day by scrolling through social media and watching the news, filling his mind with comparison, negativity, and fear before he'd even had breakfast. We changed this one habit, replacing morning media with reading, meditation, planning, and within weeks his productivity and creativity soared. By day 16, you'll have evaluated and upgraded your associations and environment to support rather than undermine your winning mindset. Day 17 through 19 are about developing that vital quality called discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. It's what turns dreams into reality. And for many people, it's the missing ingredient in their success recipe. Discipline isn't about punishment or restriction. It's about decision. The word itself comes from disciple, a student, a learner, a follower of a way. Discipline means you've decided what matters most and you're willing to put aside what matters less. For these 3 days, you're going to build your self-discipline muscles through specific practices. First, identify one area of your life where you've been lacking discipline. Maybe it's getting up early or controlling your eating or managing your spending or completing tasks before deadline. Remember, discipline isn't about white-knuckling your way through life. It's about creating structures that support your best self. It's about making the right choice the default choice. I found that disciplined people aren't necessarily more motivated or stronger-willed than others. They've just built better systems. They've created environments and routines that pull them toward their goals rather than push them away. Think of discipline like brushing your teeth. You don't debate whether to do it each morning. You don't wait until you feel motivated. You just do it because it's part of your routine, part of who you are and what you do. By day 19, you'll have strengthened your self-discipline muscles and created systems to make discipline a natural part of your daily life. Last thing, days 20 through 22 are about something every successful person has mastered. Overcoming obstacles. Because let me tell you something important. As you build this winning mindset and start moving towards your goals, You will face challenges, guaranteed. The question isn't whether obstacles will appear. It's how you'll respond when they do. Most people let obstacles stop them. They hit a roadblock and turn around. They face rejection and give up. They encounter difficulty and decide their goal wasn't meant to be. But those with a winning mindset see obstacles differently. They see them as tests. Tests of commitment, tests of creativity, tests of character. They know that the obstacle isn't in the way. The obstacle is the way. It's through overcoming challenges that we grow, learn, and become who we need to be to achieve. For these 3 days, I want you to reframe how you think about problems. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? How can I use this? What opportunity might be hidden in this challenge? Create what I call resilient strategy. A specific plan for how you'll respond when things get tough. Write down your potential obstacles, and for each one, answer these questions. What's the worst that could happen? How can I prevent it? If it happens anyway, how will I respond? What opportunities might be hidden in this challenge? Having the strategy in place before you need it ensures you won't be caught off guard when obstacles appear. You'll have already thought through your response. And remember, persistence is often the difference between failure and success. Most people give up just before the breakthrough. They plant the seed but get tired of watering it before the harvest comes. Don't make that mistake. I know a woman who was rejected by 18 banks when seeking financing for her business idea. 18 no's. Most people would have given up. But she saw each rejection as information, not failure. She refined her business plan with each meeting, incorporating the feedback she received. Bank number 19 said yes, and today her company employs over 200 people. What if she had stopped at bank number 18? What if she had decided it wasn't meant to be? She would have missed her destiny by one meeting, by one conversation, by one decision to persist when others would have quit. By day 22, you'll have a resilient strategy in place and a new relationship with obstacles, seeing them as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. Days 23 through 25, focus on something that might surprise. Gratitude and positivity. Now, I'm not talking about blind optimism or denying reality. I'm talking about training your mind to see opportunities where others see only problems, to focus on what's working rather than just what isn't. Gratitude is the antidote to the entitlement mentality that keeps so many people stuck. When you're grateful for what you have, you put yourself in a position to receive more. When you appreciate what's working, you create the mental conditions for more things to work. For these 3 days, start and end each day with a gratitude practice. In the morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Not just listing them, but really feeling the gratitude as you write. In the evening, write down 3 good things that happened that day, no matter how small. This simple practice rewires your brain to start noticing the positive. We all have a reticular activating system in our brains, a filter that determines what we notice and what we ignore among the millions of bits of information bombarding us every second. When you practice gratitude, you train this system to spot out opportunities, blessings, and solutions instead of just problems, lack, and obstacles. Days 26 through 28 are about what ultimately matters most, taking consistent action. Because a mindset without action is just a fantasy. It's through doing that we make our thoughts real in the world. Many people mistake motion for action. They're busy but not productive. They confuse activity with achievement. A winning mindset is focused on high leverage actions, those few things that produce the majority of results. For these 3 days, focus on implementing what I call the compound effect of small actions. Identify the 3 to 5 actions that will move you most quickly toward your goals. Then do them every single day without fail. Maybe it's making 5 sales calls. Maybe it's writing 500 words. Maybe it's having 1 important conversation. Whatever these high leverage activities are for your specific goals, do them consistently. Small actions, repeated daily, create momentum. And momentum is a powerful force. It's much easier to keep moving once you've started than to start moving from a standstill. Create action triggers. specific cues that automatically lead to your desired behaviors. After I pour my morning coffee, I will immediately make my first sales call. After I finish dinner, I will immediately exercise for 30 minutes. These triggers bypass the need for motivation or willpower. They make the right actions automatic. Track your actions. Use a simple calendar chart where you mark each day you complete your key activities. Try not to break the chain. This visual reminder is surprisingly powerful in maintaining consistency. And remember, it's not about perfect action. It's about consistent action. You will have days where you don't do everything perfectly. That's okay. What's not okay is using one imperfect day as an excuse to give up entirely. Get back on track immediately. And here's the beautiful truth. Once you've built this mindset, no one can take it away from you. Economic conditions may change, technologies may change, industries may change, but your mindset, your approach to challenges, your belief in yourself, your commitment to growth, that remains. I've seen people lose everything materially and rebuild even greater success because their mindset remained intact. And I've seen people inherit fortunes and lose them because they never developed the mindset to maintain and grow wealth. Your mindset is your most valuable asset. Guard it, feed it, strengthen it, and it will serve you for the rest of your life. As we reach the end of these 30 days, let me share one final thought. Building a winning mindset isn't really about achieving goals, although you will achieve them. It isn't really about making money, although you will make it. It isn't really about gaining recognition or status, although those may come too. Building a winning mindset is about becoming the person you were meant to be. It's about fulfilling your potential. It's about creating a life of meaning, purpose, and contribution. It's about waking up each morning with enthusiasm for the day ahead and going to bed each night with satisfaction for a day well lived. That's the real prize. That's the true measure of success. Not just what you get, but who you become along the way. So let me ask you, who will you become through these next 30 days? What mindset will you build? What potential will you unlock? What possibilities will you create? The answers to these questions are up to you. They always have been. I've shown you the path, but only you can walk it. I've shared the principles, but only you can apply them. I've outlined the practices, but only you can perform them. Will you commit not just to knowing, but to doing? Not just to starting, but to continuing. Not just to trying, but to succeeding. I believe you will. I believe that something brought you here today, something more than chance. I believe there's a reason you're hearing these words, a reason you're considering this 30-day journey. And I believe that if you embrace this process wholeheartedly, your life will never be the same. 30 days to build a winning mindset. 30 days to set the foundation for everything that follows. 30 days to begin becoming the person you were meant to be. It starts now, not tomorrow. Not when conditions are perfect. Not when you feel more ready. Now, with a decision, a commitment. A first step, take that step. Make that commitment. Then take the next step. And the next, day by day, choice by choice, action by action, building the mindset that will create the life you are meant to live. What are you waiting for? Your 30 days begin now. The clock is ticking. Every minute that passes is gone forever. But every minute that remains is full of potential, full of opportunity, full of possibility. Some people say 30 days isn't enough time to make real change. Those people don't understand the power of focus, the power of commitment, the power of a winning mindset. 30 days is more than enough time to start a revolution in your thinking that will change the trajectory of your life forever. Think about it. Everything in your life right now, your health, your relationships, your finances, your career, your happiness, all of it is a result of your previous thinking. Change your thinking and you change the results. It's as simple and as profound as that. I've watched people transform their lives in less than 30 days. I've seen businesses turn around in less than 30 days. I've witnessed relationships heal in less than 30 days. Not because of magic or luck, but because someone made a fundamental shift in how they think, in their mindset. This 30-day journey we've outlined isn't easy. I never said it would be. Anything worth having requires effort, but it's simple. The principles are clear. The practices are straightforward. The path is well marked. All that's required is your decision to follow it. Will there be challenges? Of course. Will you face resistance, both from outside and from within? Absolutely. Will there be days when you don't feel like doing the work? Without a doubt. But here's what makes the difference. Those with a winning mindset do what needs to be done, regardless of how they feel. They act based on commitment, not convenience. They make decisions based on their goals, not their mood. And that's what these 30 days will teach you, how to separate your actions from your emotions, how to keep moving forward when everything within you wants to stop, how to say yes to what matters when it would be easier to say no. This is the essence of a winning mindset. The ability to override temporary discomfort for long-term gain. The willingness to do today what others won't so you can have tomorrow what others don't. I want you to imagine something with me. Imagine it's 30 days from now. You followed the plan. You've done the work. You've made the changes we've discussed. How will you feel? How will you think? How will you approach challenges? How will you see opportunities? How will you interact with others? How will you treat yourself? See it clearly. Feel it deeply. This is not fantasy. This is a preview of what's possible. This is what awaits you at the end of these 30 days. Not if, but when you do the work. And here's the beautiful truth. The benefits don't end at day 30. They multiply. They compound. They create a positive spiral that lifts every area of your life. Because once you've built a winning mindset, you've changed the foundation upon which everything else in your life is built. You've altered not just what you do, but who you are. And that changes everything. I've spent decades studying success, teaching these principles, watching people apply them. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, this works. Not sometimes, not for some people, for everyone who truly commits to the process. The question is not whether these principles work. The question is whether you will work them, whether you will take them from concept to reality, from knowledge to action, from understanding to experience. I believe you will. I believe there's a reason you're hearing these words. I believe there's a purpose behind this moment. And I believe that purpose is to help you become who you were meant to be, to help you build the mindset that will create the life you were meant to live. 30 days, that's the challenge. 30 days to build a winning mindset, 30 days to change the trajectory of your life, 30 days to set in motion forces that will benefit you for years, decades, even a lifetime to accept the challenge, embrace the journey, do the work, and watch as your life transforms one day, one choice, one action at a time. Your 30 days begin now. Make them count.